Introducing first of all in the red corner, weighing in at 234 pounds. Fans, here is Bob Backlund. And his opponent in the blue corner, weighing 200 pounds. Fans, here's Mike Jackson. It is one fall, a 10-minute time limit.
Well, this promises to be a tremendously fast-moving match. Backlund, an absolute bear of an athlete, no question about that. Was collegiate champion 2 years in succession. Has held championships everywhere in the world, and it is Mike Jackson moving out against him. Jackson has 2 master's degrees, and I'll tell you what, we're going to see a lot of speed in this match, John.
Well, that's very true. He has 2 master's degrees. He may get another degree tonight because Backlund is capable of indoctrinating you into one. He's probably one of the finest wrestlers in the entire world, but the entire world has ever seen. Now, he had a late pickup here by Jackson, but you can see the flexibility, the reaction, the speed of Backlund. So fantastic that with the one leg that was planted as a post, he was able to pick it up and avoid being kicked over, and that's the expression you use when you're taking a man down from that position.
Backlund in with a quick fireman carry, takedown and back on his feet. Whip it fast. And Jackson nodding affirmatively, so Jackson is developing a tremendous amount of respect for Backlund right away.
Well, I'm sure he had the respect for Backlund before he came in here, but now that he's actually in there, it doubles. There's a nice duck under and go behind. He's quite an arm drag. Duck under, go behind by Jackson. But again, the short, quick sit-outs by Backlund, so fantastic. And he almost combines a hidden switch in there and gets away from that man.
Well, of course, every Saturday morning here on WPIX, you're going to see the very finest in champions in professional wrestling. No question about that.
There's a wing over by Backlund, but I'm surprised he didn't just go in there and tie that guy up with some type of a combination keylock. But it's young in the match yet, and Backlund has so much ring experience, and I'm sure he knows how he wants to handle this man more than I did.
Backlund in behind his man. Waist takedown, and he keeps the ride going, and they're into the ropes, and that'll force the break.
That was a nice waist drag by Backlund, who set up a heel block, took him down, and then he gave him a loose ride. And there's nothing more frustrating when somebody gives you a loose ride, because then you know if he's that confident he can loose ride you, you're in for a night of trouble. And I'm sure that's Backlund. Some of Backlund's shots here, a lot of psychology applied. Nice back roll, arm twist, drag out, and he's spun him over.
Jackson with a kip up back on his feet. Good reversal by Jackson. Now a reversal by Backlund, and Jackson finds himself on the receiving end once again. Jackson is finding himself stymied by something here, too. Normally, Jackson could drop to hold, and now he's got the ride going on Bob Backlund. Let's see how Backlund escapes from this one if he can.
He had a lot of choices, but he preferred to do the short sit-out. Came in for a single, picked it up. He shot that single in there real nice and smooth, and he has so much strength in those arms, he's able to twist that ankle around and keep control of his man as he decides where he wants to go from here. He probably has a picture, but he's not revealing it yet.
And again, we see Aden El-Kisi from Baghdad, Iraq, studying. So in my opinion, I would assume he is very definitely scouting for someone that he can possibly manage in the future. He's an extremely wealthy man. He can do about what he wants. Meanwhile, Backlund is decided to take away possibly some of that speed of Jackson by going after that left leg.
Yeah, that's a strong point that you brought out there, and that's a very good one, Gordon. But you see how much strength he's got in his hands? He's actually twisting that foot around just previous to this shot here. He twisted around with just the strength of the palm of his hands, the fingers. Jackson came out with a legal shot to the back of the neck there. Bob may not like that too much and may not take too much of that.
Well, Jackson having some problems now with that foot and with that ankle and on that bicycle, and he's, I'm sure, desperately trying to figure some strategy. Forearm drag and twist into a takedown by Backlund, and it is Jackson. And Backlund just bearing down on him.
They actually took Jackson over with an arm lever head bar shot and used it from the mat. Very seldom you see it done from a standing position, and he has the arm barred right now, and he's got him under control. And I think a lot of the holes he puts on Jackson, he wants to see what the reaction is going to come from Jackson. Then he's going to set up his counter, and probably a pin will come off of that later on.
Saw some marvelous intensity on the fans watching Some youngsters watching right now. A body scissors by Backlund on Jackson. Jackson may be having the full, and now tremendous bridge on the part of Backlund. Jackson couldn't even maintain posture on him there at all. And there's not an ounce of material on Backlund that isn't muscle, including his tights, as far as I'm concerned.
Indeed it is. And there's a nice spin under, go behind, leg pick up, and he went up to a bar. I was wondering why Bob was laying on his back with a fellow with a body scissor on him. That's a cardinal rule. You never do that. But I'm sure Bob knew that at any time he had the power to bridge up out there. Probably wanted to flex some of those muscles in the upper back and just test Jackson out a little bit.
Jackson with a good counter that time, but Jackson having increasing problems with those legs now. Going around, watching his man carefully. Collar and elbow. Once again, it's Backlund getting the side headlock. I'll tell you what, you talk about great champions. This Backlund certainly is, in my opinion. And for all of us around this eastern seaboard, I'll tell you something. This man, his future is still in front of him, no question about it. Jackson drives him into the ring ropes. Cheap shot on the break. So Jackson getting a little desperate now as he realizes that Backlund has got him totally, not totally, but certainly definitely outclassed, and Jackson's now taking those shortcuts.
You can see the frustration in Jackson's face. He looked up at the fans and said, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? There he tried a leg elevator, a far leg elevator on Backlund, but Backlund entirely too strong for a man just to hold on to his legs. He's one of the most powerful men there is in the country, or the world as far as that's concerned. But again, the secrets of Backlund are not only is he strong and fast, but he has the flexibility that a lot of men who are in that type of condition lack. And he is one of the most flexible and speedy wrestlers in the world today. Look at the power demonstrated here, Gordon.
Exactly, and he kept going after those legs, kept going after them until he finally got Jackson where he went. Aha! Backlund letting him know. Backlund let Jackson know in no uncertain terms exactly what he thought of that cheap shot earlier. And now Jackson, well, if you looked in his eyes just then, you saw a newfound respect.
Well, if I were in Jackson's international singlet that he's wearing there right now, I'd be looking for the nearest bus station, because this is the wrong man to have upset with you in there, and I would much rather have him on level terms at least. Now you've got an irate Bob Backlund. It's time to look for the exits.
Amen to that. And Backlund, the gentleman that he is, however, backs away and gives him some maneuvering room. And now Jackson explodes with two forearms in behind him with a full Nelson. And Jackson clamping down on that full Nelson, and Backlund's got his problems. So maybe Jackson trying to get Backlund angry was causing exactly what... Oh, he broke it, and he's... broken, and Jackson slips away from it, and as he tries, and it's Backlund, high bridge back.
It's got him in what we call double alligator clutch with the bridge, and that's all there is to it.
Fantastic move by Bob Backlund, and